getting for some reason YouTube and Gmail are taking a second to load, and then once I put the thumbnail up, we should be good to go. This is annoying. Is this gonna be like for every website? Yeah, it is. It looks like. Well, we're gonna have to wait a second. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. I just turned off my Wi-Fi and turned it back on. Why am I not
I can
able
do
to
an
look at...
audio check when we're ready.
I don't know if I can't tell if it's streaming or not because it's not loading anything on my computer. Yeah, we're
It says
streaming.
we're live.
Okay. Well, I would like to know why nothing's loading. All right, now this is loading. Okay. Can YouTube load? Yes, YouTube will load.
I can
It's
do
being
an
weird. All
audio
right,
check when we're ready.
we're good to go. I'm gonna put up the thumbnail and then we can get this show
Yeah, it
started.
says we're live. It sounds like I'm a lot louder than you.
I am farther away from my mic right now. Does it sound any different in your headphones?
It'll take like 20 seconds to hear it on the stream.
Well, that's fair.
No, I guess I should hold my mic closer. That's probably why my quality doesn't sound good. Oh, yeah, my quality. All right, yeah, that did make it. Definitely made it different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we should
Probably get my AirPods.
started in. Whenever you get your AirPods, let me know and we can start it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Good?
Yep, they are connecting now.
Okay.
Sure my input device didn't change. Ah, it did. All right.
I hear you still.
I am ready to run.
Cool. Oh,
Hear what?
I was gonna say I hear you still. That's all.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just switched to my AirPods for a second, but ready to go.
Okay, cool. It started in 3, 2, and 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
Doing all right, Chris. I was a little angry last night, but I'm doing all right today. I settled down. Because even if you don't, I mean, let's get into it. Celtics game 1. If you listen to last pod, I was very adamant about the sweep. I bet the sweep. Um, I was excited for the sweep. I had the brooms out. I mean, the brooms were out of the closet. They were hanging out watching the game with me. I had to tell the brooms to go home though, and
They were excited in the third quarter, weren't they?
they were pumped. They were so pumped. Yes, like it was. So Celtics brutal 20-point comeback L against the Knicks, I guess. Or anyways, lead blown. They shoot 63s. They miss 45 of them. It's not a winning strategy. It what scared me, I think the only thing that scared me, because look, when you boil it down, and this is what I was saying last night, the Knicks played their best game of the playoffs so far, and the Celtics played their worst
Yep.
game of this playoffs so far, and they won by 3. So There's not a lot of margin for error for the Knicks if you're if you're the New York Knicks, but if you're the Celtics, there's a lot of margin of error. You just saw it. You can have all these things go wrong, and it still be a 3-point game and go to overtime.
Yeah.
Um, what scares me is how long. What you still see me? Sorry, for some reason a printer was trying to connect. What made me mad was how long the collapse was. The collapse was
Mhm.
probably I mean, it was like the whole 4th quarter, maybe even into the 3rd quarter, and it was a slow it reminded me of the 22 teams, the 23 teams, um, these teams we saw losing the conference finals, losing the finals, and for the same reasons, it just kept taking threes. They just couldn't help themselves. Like, Tatum would have the switch on to Mitchell Robinson or have the switch on to Brunson or someone he could beat, and he just wouldn't beat him. He would just jack up another 3. He shot 15 threes alone, and he only made 4 of them. That's just unacceptable. It drove me mad. Um, even, like, to the point where the only guys going to the basket were, like, Horford and some Drew Holiday. There's a couple and every time they went to the basket, the Knicks were shocked, and they let up the, um, the layup. They did just enough to get it to overtime and really just kept him in there during the regular time. And then in overtime, just I think Tatum had 4 points, maybe in the 4th quarter in overtime, and 2 of them were free throws. It was just bad. It was really bad. They didn't, and then they seemed like when it was too late, towards the end of the game, they go for the 2-point. They go like, they're down 3, they go for a layup. It's like, "What are you doing? Now you go for a layup? You just had 9 minutes to take layups and take this game over." Um, and then if there's I saw on Twitter the next day Twitter, I mean, it just makes it worse. I watched that night, I'm not lying. People say they shut off their phone. I didn't. Um, and there's 4 layups that the Celtics missed that are just completely wide open. Um, so you hate seeing that after a 3-point loss. Uh, Chris, how was it
So
from
are
a non-fan
well,
perspective?
I have a question to
Okay.
you, and it's, do you think that this is something that needs to change, like the way that they're playing basketball, or do you think it's just like they shot horrendously and that's not going to happen again? Because it's like at the end of the day, it's one game, and
Mhm.
like last year they lost every game, one or two at home,
Yep.
and it didn't matter. And like you said, the Knicks had to play basically perfect in the second half to come back and even get this game to overtime in a game where the Celtics shot horribly. So like I just don't want you to get too caught up in like, oh, this is what the 2022 team looked like. Like this is just that same painful team that falls apart in the fourth quarter. Like it's one game. If this happens again in game two, then I think it's a pretty big conversation. But like right now, where are you at in terms
Right
of
now,
like,
I'm alright. Like,
okay,
I'm the sky's not falling. I think they're gonna win in 5. I have no respect on this Knicks
yeah,
team.
okay.
Um, the and I think the reason of that is Drew Holiday. Even in this game where he was him and Jaylen Brown have been compromised since that Magic series. They haven't been the same. They haven't had the same lift. Um, and Drew Holiday at the end of these games takes over, slows down the game, and whenever the ball gets into his hand, like everyone just can breathe for a second. They can run without the ball. Tatum's not thinking about a million things in the world and then deciding to take a 3 anyways. Brown's doing the same thing. Like they feel like Brown and Tatum, they worry about their moments. If that makes any sense. Where
Mhm.
Drew Holiday doesn't have to worry about the moment. He won 2 championships now. He's just a role
It's also
player.
a lot like his legacy.
Yeah,
Like
his
Tatum's
legacy is way
legacy
more
is
cemented.
affected losing to the Knicks. Drew Holiday is like, yeah, he will
Yeah.
already be remembered for a guy who's won a couple of rings and was also never the guy.
Yeah, but he was always like the leader-ish type of like the silent leader point
Mhm.
guard type of. So yeah, you're right. His legacy is way more cemented than the other two. So I feel like that gets in their head sometimes, and I it's not something to worry about. What did piss me off though at the end of regulation, I wanted to look up how much time was actually left, but there's less than 10 seconds. There might have even been less than a second for one of these opportunities, and you have Peyton Pritchard sitting right on the bench. Like, this is what he does. Like, that is his thing. And not even to see him not even go out there for that second or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, it was ridiculous to me. Like, what's the worst that can happen? He's gonna let up some quick thing on defense. They were hunting Horford or hunting whatever, the weak guy. I mean, it was Horford at the end of the game. Um, and that would have been Pritchard's role, and it probably would have been the same defense. I I'm not saying you play him the whole 4th quarter, but, like, those opportunities where you get the buzzer beater shot, that's what he's there for. That is exactly what he's there for. So, I don't know why they didn't sub that in. That pissed me off. I felt like that was bad coaching by Joe. Somebody's just gotta smack the guys at the top of the head and tell them to go to the basket when this is collapsing. And it has to be, like, and it doesn't actually, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be, like, right when they start collapsing. They could try to shoot their way out of it, and if it doesn't work, once it gets into, like, 11 points, just start going to the basket, please. Like, they just let these opportunities build, and the Knicks just build and build and build. So, sorry,
Yeah,
long-winded.
I
I
mean, I
had a
think it's
lot
tough,
to.
like, when you have a style of basketball that you play, like, you
Mhm.
don't wanna just panic all of a sudden when things go cold. Um, but at the end of the day, it's a make or miss league. Like,
Yep.
it's a pretty simple game when when you really think about it.
And
And if you're not like, you go cold in the 4th quarter, you're in trouble, regardless of where those shots are coming from. So,
completely agree. And I think that's what Joe Maz is telling the team. They're just
yeah,
looking at the
right.
team saying, "Hey, we're not making only 15 threes again if we shoot 60 of them. We're making 30 next
Yeah,
time.
don't
We're
change
making
anything, just hit your shots.
yeah." And they had wide open shots that they
Don't fall.
missed throughout the game. It was
Yeah.
it was just a brutal like, perfect storm for the Knicks. And it I couldn't imagine, like, I didn't think in today I thought after the championship, after last year's run, Tatum wouldn't let this type of shit happen. And then there he is just jacking up his 15th and 13th three. Um, but he's only had like he only made 4. It was that was unacceptable. That would scare me if I see it again. We hopefully won't see it again. It is only game 1. Credit to the Knicks. Credit to OG Anunoby. He was the best. He might have been the best player on the floor. I mean, Brunson in overtime took over, and in at the end of the game took over. But OG Anunoby was perfect defensively. He was smothering up Jalen Brown, and yeah, and he got 29 points. He played the best game he's played in the playoffs, and that's what worries me about this Knicks team. They needed one of those guys to go off without anyone noticing, and it was OG Anunoby this game. But they're not gonna get 30 from him every game. They're gonna need Towns to step up, and they're of course Brunson. I mean, I thought we were gonna do better defensively on him. He finds his ways. He always finds his ways.
That's fine if there's only one of those guys, which there is.
Mhm.
And the other thing that you have to remember is, like, this is a long series. It might not be a long series, but theoretically, this is a long series, and whose legs are going to hold up better? Like, if they can get another game, and we're talking about like this going into game 6, like, how effective are they really going to be defensively after 6 games series before, and now 5 games against the best team in the East? It's going to be tough.
It
And
is.
this is the drum that we've been beating with the Knicks this whole season. Like, the warning signs are there,
Mhm.
and eventually it's going to bite them. So I think it's easy to puff your chest out as a Knicks fan after this game, but, like, there's no way that they can play as aggressively as they did last night once this series gets into games 5, 6, and 7. It's just, like, physically not doable.
Yeah, because the Josh Hart games are gonna. I mean, and Josh Hart is like the perfect type of guy to face against the Celtics because this Celtics iteration team, and they've never had a bulldog. I mean, they had Marcus Smart. They never had like he was the only one, and none of the guy like they're. I don't know, maybe not bulldogs, but like alphas. I don't know what it is, but like bullies.
That's
And
our dog.
yeah, Josh Hart's a bully in a good way for basketball, in the best way possible. I guess Drew Holiday's kinda like that, but he's more there's something about like, I just think there's, like, Josh Hart's, like, grittier about it. He's real about like, you just feel like you don't wanna get in a fight with that guy, and it's the perfect type of guy to go against the Celtics. He's gonna have a great series, but to your point, I
Funny how
hope
they're
it doesn't
soft.
last. Yeah, when he's exhausted.
The long, nice way of saying that they're just soft.
Yeah, the Celtics, yes. Yeah, they are. And you see it by Porzingis, like, well,
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't know what is up with Porzingis, but he should have a chip on his shoulder. This is one of his former teams. Um, he was sick, apparently, I guess. An illness took him out in the second half. Um, I hope that's not cover up for a knee injury or an ankle injury, but the we need to see something better out of Porzingis because they're not gonna win the finals without him. I mean,
Yeah.
they need him, and I think there was some degree where you play this whole season, you gotta expect him not to be there for times, but not for the whole second half of a game that we need him for.
Mhm.
It just changes the rebounding, it changes how we play Horford, and then our bench is not as deep as the Celtics would like it to be, so it's, uh,
Yeah.
it's the luxury when you have the starting
I mean, if
6
you
that you
when you
have.
get in the playoffs, though, like everybody's rotation starts to shrink down a little bit.
Yes, yes, all the teams that find their way. I completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, look at like the deepest teams in the like Clippers. We were tooting their horn because of how deep they were. Like the Thunder are the exception, I think.
I think the Pacers are too, which we'll talk. They play like 11
Yes.
guys. They play a
Yeah,
ton of
that is true.
guys. I like that. Yeah, that is a good point because like Cleveland cut down their rotation. Denver completely cut down their rotation. Denver's out
We
10
never. I
guys.
feel like we never. It's been since like the Pistons in like the early 2000s where there's been a team that won the finals with like a bunch of good players.
It's-
You know,
yeah, and that's
that
we
sounds like a
weren't even
sweeping
watching
statement.
at that point. Like we were what two,
Yeah,
2004
yeah.
Pistons.
The point is like the teams with the best players win.
Yes, and as you said with the make or miss league,
When I say it out loud, it sounds kind of stupid,
I
but
was gonna say when
like
you say
not
with
every
it's
sport is like that.
it goes hand in hand with the make or miss league where it's like if your star play like that was tonight. Tatum and Brown both got outplayed by Brunson and OG Anunoby. Both got
Mhm.
outplayed. So that's unacceptable. It doesn't I mean, even if I mean, of course, if they hit like 5 threes, they actually blow them out. But uh so I guess what is this is a good series for what is like what's stronger, the best player in the series or the make or miss league because you can have games where if the Celtics made 5 threes last night, Tatum's not the best player, but make or miss league. They take control. So it is you know what I'm talking about?
Lost me.
Am I has I lost you? So like
Are you saying the Celtics make their shots, but Tatum doesn't play well? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I was gonna say what weighs out more, make or miss league or best player in the series normally wins.
Mm.
But I guess it always boils down to make or miss league because then the
Yeah, it's
best
just
player
generally
also has to
it
make
does
or miss.
depend on the best player
Yeah.
who's
Now
taking
we're
the
just
most
talking in
shots.
circles.
We are talking in circles. This is why Jason
That's
Tatum gets shit on for what it's worth.
that is
Because
true.
he had
Yes.
bad games last year, they still won.
Yes, that is true. I get that. And I get frustrated watching him take 15 threes. So, I was all in on it last night. I think that covers I mean, I think that covers all the points of views with, Ethan asked, did the Knicks miss almost 20 free throws? I don't think so, but maybe. Yes, they missed 14 of them. I mean, who cares? They shot they had the points when it mattered, and it was the collapse. It was like the momentum was just shot because of all the threes that they were missing. It didn't matter how many free throws the other team was missing, honestly. Um, but I don't expect this to happen again. I would be worried as a Celtics fan if I see another Tatum game like this, and if I just see nothing from Porzingis. That's when I'd start getting nervous. Um, and I think there's where there wasn't like last pod, there was no way. Like even if Tatum plays bad, like I think Jalen Brown will step up. I do think Taysom Tatum needs to be the best player. He needs to be it in the whole series, not just for the Celtics, not just Like, you know what I'm talking about? He needs to step up.
I think you
And
still win the series if Jalen Brunson's the best player in the series.
yeah, but OG Anunoby definitely can't be the second best player. That's that. OG Anunoby cannot be the second best player. Um, the Towns, I love facing Towns. I wish I could face 7 series against Towns. It was like instant he was in foul trouble. Instantly. It was awesome. Um, all right. I think we're ready to move on. I think we got
Yep.
I think we got everything covered on that. Good win by the Knicks. They scrappy team. It doesn't make me want to, want to keep playing them, but this is what we got to do. Pacers Cavs, I think so that was our original wake up call. If you see the episode, that was the Celtics was our second. Um, the Pacers woke up the Cavs. Right now, we're gonna. I don't want to talk too much about the game because the game 2 is going on as we speak currently. But the Cavaliers blew game 1. It was a close game, high scoring game. Halliburton just took care of business, and I mean, talk about make or miss league. Davion Mitch or uh, not Davion. Why am I forgetting the actual D Mitch? Donovan. Hey, thank you. Donovan Mitchell could not hit a 3-pointer to save his life. I think he was 0 for 11. Um, Bad game by the Cavs.
13 of 30 from the floor on
Ooh,
11 from three.
ooh. Oh, 1 of 11. Okay, my bad. He got the one. Just that wake up call because everyone in the world was talking about. I mean, there's some people saying it would go longer. Everyone thought this first game, Cavs. I mean, just they were resting. Um, the Pacers just had a hard fought series against the Bucks. Sort of. I mean, I guess they did it in 5, but now they steal game 1. I think people have been sleeping on this Pacers team all year long. Their defense in the second half since the All-Star break was the 8th defense in the NBA. Nobody would expect that after last year with how high-powered their offense was and how
The
much they gave
opposite.
up on. Yeah, exactly. I think they're I mean, they beat the Bucks. That anytime you beat Giannis, like a great player like that, um, you got to put something on. I mean, it's got to mean something. And I like them against this Cavs team. Let's see how they're down 12 right now in the second quarter, but um, it's the NBA. That means nothing right
I mean,
now.
what you've already won walking out of there with a split.
Yeah,
I
walking
feel
out of
like
there
these
is a
game ones we always just chalk up to
home team.
the better team, and then it's like a shocker when they drop it. And I wonder when the last NBA playoffs was, where in the second round, the first 3 games, the home team actually dropped the first game.
I was gonna say we got 3
It's
wake
pretty
up. It
unbelievable.
was because you texted me. You were like, it was Saturday. No, Sunday night, May the 4th.
Yes.
It was game 1, and this was game 1 was right before game 7 of the Warriors Rockets,
I
and
don't like when they do that, by the way, per se.
yeah, you got to finish.
I
I
don't know
want to
why.
finish round 1.
Figure it out, yeah. I'd rather stack the game sevens. Give me game 7 at 3:30 and 8. I would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that would be electric. The It was Star Wars Day, and I wanted to watch A New Hope, so I thought it was a perfect opportunity to watch during game 1. I figured maybe the Cavs will roll them in game 1. The Pacers just kind of played. Um, so I missed out on that, and missed an amazing Pacers game. But so that was the first wake up call. You texted me that. You're like, it's time to bring out the wake up calls. I was very
Yep.
excited. And then my Celtics got hit with a wake up call.
He got
Uh
burned.
yeah, so I got
Well, that's
burned
how it
by the wake up
originated,
call.
was the
What?
Celtics getting woken up. That was
Yes,
how
that's
the
how
wake
it
up call started. It's
oh
like
yeah.
every series. Yeah, was this the wake up call that they needed? And then I think that one, the Heat series, it was like they got down 3-0. We're like,
That
is
was the
game
wake up
3
call. Yeah,
the wake up call? And then it ended up being the real wake up call because they rattled all 3 in a row.
yes, the if you've been listening the past couple NBA playoffs, there has been that it's been notorious on the Celtics. I think this has been the first wake up call that was not on the Celtics, and it was the first of the season, so it was like a double whammy.
Yes.
And then the Celtics get smacked at the wake up call, which I didn't mention, which I should have mentioned from the start, which is the kind of the point at the beginning of this podcast. That was 100% a wake up call. Don't shoot a bunch of threes in the fourth quarter when you're only down when you're up by 11. You're up by 11 and they're just chucking threes like there's 2 minutes left. They're like, "Oh shit, they're coming back. We got to just chuck threes until we die." Um and then the Cavs, wake up call. This Pacers team is not going to be what you think. And Nimhart was the hero, or not hero, but one of the heroes taking them to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And another guy that everyone just kind of forgot about. He had these moments last year. He's had these moments this year. Um, he was unconscious in that fourth quarter against the Cavaliers, just pulling up him and Halliburton, just pulling up the most insane 3-pointers and nailing them. So I mean, actually, I was gonna say, what do the Cavs need to do to adjust? They're playing right now. They're doing just fine. They're up by 12 still. Um, and it's hard. Like they didn't have um, what's his name in the first game? Garland, Darius Garland.
Yeah, is he coming back?
Is he playing? Is he playing today? I haven't
It
checked.
doesn't look like it.
Yeah, they're starting. They
Yeah,
started.
he's not.
Yeah, Ty Jerome has to come starting. It's like Ty Jerome's great when you play him for 17 minutes.
Dean Wade.
When you playing him for 30, yeah. Yeah, this team got
That's
talk about
25.
lineups.
Not very good.
Talk about lineups that got
Wait,
shrunk.
Mobley's out too?
Mobley was played last game. He played 36 minutes. Is he out for this game?
Yeah, ankle.
Oh, and Hunter's out for the Cavs. So them being
Okay,
up
what
by
is going
12.
on?
Yeah, them being up by 12 right now is very impressive. I knew when I looked at that when they looked at that box score, I was like, man, they must have played some deep in their bench already. But no, they started Strus, Dean Wade, Ty Jerome, Donovan Mitchell, and Jared Allen. That's it's a Brooklyn Nets
Horrible.
squad from a couple years ago. That's not a great
When
team.
I first like looked at the box score and I saw how many shots Donovan Mitchell took or has taken so far already tonight, I was like, damn, like you think maybe after the first game that you just shot the ball a little bit less, put it around, and then I looked at the rest of the names in the lineup and I was like, yeah, never
I
mind.
mean, you want a same as you want to hit like you want to have 17 minutes of Ty Jerome. You don't want 30. You don't want
Yes.
30 plus. This is scary. I didn't realize that. That's scary for the Cavs. Again, they're up. We'll see how it goes. We'll check on it at the end of the podcast later tonight. Actually, wait. We'll talk about the last wake up call that we had. This was an unexpected wake up call. I mean, they're all unexpected. That's kind of the point
That's
of the
what
wake
makes
up
him
call.
make it.
Yes. Uh, and I guess this was. I really should have just pointed out that I woke up to this wake up call. Um, that's why it was unexpected because I went to bed. But the Nuggets facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won by 2. This is another scenario where if you're the Thunder, I mean, you got 20 points from Caruso and the rest of your starters, I mean, they didn't play well, but they had like decent stats. So maybe it would be a little bit more nervous than the Celtics, but you lost by 2 and the Nuggets
I
played
mean, if you
out
look
of
at
their mind.
Jokic's numbers, I think you can just draw it up to that because we have taught like when we talk about the Nuggets, there are games where like he can just will this team to victory. Um, and yeah, he was 15 of 29 with 42 points and 22 rebounds. So that's what's
But
gonna happen. Like that's why the Nuggets are dangerous, even when like you're getting duds from Michael Porter or Jamal Murray's not on or like they can't make adjustments because they don't have a coach. You can just get 50 points from Jokic with a triple double and you're going to be in the game. Now they do have games where he goes off that they lose. Um, but yeah, it's always tough when he does have one of those nights where he is literally unstoppable. There's
what
only
would
so much that you can do.
what would scare me the most, and it wouldn't even be the Jokic part, even though, as you said, I mean, that's how if they win the series, that's how they're going to do it. They're just going to do it on
Yeah,
the back of Jokic. And first of all, I'm all in to see Timberwolves and Nuggets again in the Western
but the
Conference Finals.
rematch,
Yeah, let's do it
yeah,
again.
that was fun.
Um, Second, if I was the OKC Thunder, I'd be like, how the hell did we get out rebounded by 20? Christian Brown had 13 rebounds.
Especially against a team that just went and fought in a 7-game series, and they're coming off a sweep.
Yeah, Rest versus Russ, it's a bad look for Rest.
Yeah, it's
Rest is Rest is having a big
a bad look for rest.
Rest is having a real bad look. Um, I mean, they're having duds from Michael Porter Jr. That's like a given now. They might start Westbrook
Yeah,
because Michael Porter Jr. like can't play in the second half anymore, and he's injured, so like I don't blame him. Um, but they have talk about a team with 5 guys. Like there's like a couple Peyton Watson minutes, and that's about it. Jokic is the coach, by the way. I mean, he's on the sidelines hyping up the team in the fourth quarter, running plays. It's really impressive shit. Like I don't know how he's not gassed. I I don't understand.
he's just not a real human.
No.
He was sent to us from some planet far, far away.
Yeah, and it's one of those guys where it's like it's not the body type. It's not like this unobtainable freakish. And I guess maybe being I mean, he is what, 6'11". He's almost 7 foot. He's 6'10", something like that.
Yeah, but he's like that.
And he doesn't dunk, like, he's not, like, physically like, he is physically imposing, but not, like, because he's strong,
Not
just
LeBron.
because he's yeah. Yeah, he's and it's just, like, it's because of his vision, it's because of his passing, it's because of the 30 seconds or the 22 seconds that you're guarding him, and then the 2 seconds where he just spins around and shoots a 3 in your face. Um, it's so impressive. And him against Shea
He's one of the most incredible basketball players we've ever seen. And I feel like we might not be, we might be taking that for granted.
The nerds love him. The nerds will take him for granted. Like, they don't take him for
Yeah, that's
granted.
fair.
The
That's
nerds
fair.
are all in on him. But I think you're right. The regular fan, this is like and with all the MVPs, it's right there. This is like, I don't know. This is some historic level shit. If he wins
You
another
could argue that
championship,
he should have 4 MVPs in a row. Like, he could easily won it last year, and he
yes.
could easily win it this year again.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been the best player of the last half decade, last 5 years
Yeah.
minimum. I mean, guy got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. It's pretty impressive. The It's just him versus Shea. I mean, also, first of all, on OKC Thunder, Chet needs to hit clutch free throws. Those free throws were abysmal at the end of the game. And also, I mean, just needs to step up. He needs to be that number 2. And he's not as seasoned as Gilgeous-Alexander is. None of these guys are, honestly, besides Caruso, which is funny to see that they were the only 2 that came off or went off. Um, but I guess Dort was in that playoffs with Gilgeous-Alexander, right? In the one in the bubble.
2 years ago. I
Yeah,
think he's been in a while, yeah.
Yeah, because he played LeBron for a little bit. Because we talked about the torture chamber and
The
stuff.
torture chamber.
Yeah, that might have just been in the bubble, though.
Yeah, but
Uh,
he's not like the guy that you go to when you need somebody to get hot for a stretch.
yeah, and he
That's
played I
not
mean,
his role.
actually, yeah, like, if you look at his stats, he could have used more rebounds and, assists, but he played his role in what you would expect scoring-wise. Like, you'd
Mhm.
expect him to get 13.5 points. So, that's that's what you're gaming for there. I mean, Caruso just getting 20 and then losing is sucks because that's not gonna happen all the time. But I guess Carson Wentz, Carson Wallace.
Ah, ah,
I saw see Carson W, and it just rolled right off the tongue. Um, Carson
we're
Wallace,
NFL first.
and it's Kason too. It's Kason Wallace,
Yeah,
so it's
running
real
it on in
bad.
there.
Yeah,
It's a stupid name. Like, you don't
Kason.
think that 80% of people that meet him for the first time call him Carson? He's like, "No, it's
Yeah,
actually Taysom."
yeah,
Alright,
that happened, especially like in school, in grade school. Any sub Phillies.
Yeah, Caps.
Oh yeah, Caps playoffs. Actually, we could do that instead of baseball later. You want to do that? Um,
I don't really watch hockey other than the Caps, so I don't
no,
have
okay.
much.
But we need to step up from OKC. They have the guys to do it. Can they do it? Are they old enough? They have the experience? This is where it really comes in. This is where people don't realize that type of stuff matters because when Aaron Gordon knows exactly where to be and Jokic on the floor, they've done it a million times in the playoffs. Uh, it doesn't matter how talented the guys on OKC are. They don't know
Mhm.
where Gordon is, and Gordon knows exactly where he's going to be, and Jokic knows exactly where he's going to be. But I do think I mean, I think this goes I hope this goes 7. That would be fun. I just wanna keep seeing the Nuggets in 7-game series. They've become super fun to watch, especially
Like,
with
yeah,
this Westbrook, thing going on. Alright, let's go to game 7, where I guess technically this was an upset, right? The Rockets were favored?
uh, were they at the end?
I thought they were. I thought they ended up being favored.
Gotcha.
Um,
I wasn't looking at the line.
but
But I guess
Steph
it makes
Curry
sense for, like, favorites.
say again?
I get it. I was saying it makes sense if they were slight favorites just for being the head team.
Yes. Yeah, because the Rockets are at home. Um, the Warriors, I mean, you could just this is just talk about playoff experience.
Yep.
And I
And
guess it
lack
wasn't even
thereof,
Curry. It wasn't even
almost
Curry and
more
like
importantly.
sorry, I couldn't hear what you're saying.
Sorry, is my mic am I messing this up?
No, it's fine.
Okay, okay. I was saying you said playoff experience, and I said maybe more importantly, lack thereof on
Yes.
the Rockets side.
Yes. And I mean, Thompson played well, Şengün played well. The rest of the team didn't play very well. Um, you got a couple Van Vliet moments, but that's about it. And like they relied on Steven Adams in game 6 too much. He wasn't able to do what he did in game 6. That was huge. Jalen Green was just kind of a no-show the whole series. He had that one game where he played decent, but I mean, that's 7 games of playoff games and you have maybe one game that people remember of you. It's not a good look. And I know that doesn't mean everything in their first playoff series, but it was one of those guys that I already didn't feel great about because of exactly that. Like, exactly
Mhm.
this clutchness and, like, what can you rely on him in big games, and is he, like, worth all this money? So, if they have an opportunity to flip him for someone, I think he's on the table. I wouldn't be surprised.
Giannis.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe Giannis, Kevin Durant, maybe? I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, they'd much rather have Giannis.
I mean, I wouldn't give him up or give it up on it already, but definitely not what you want to see. Because I saw somebody the other day comparing his numbers to Ant's numbers, like at the same age, or I guess same season, because Ant's probably still,
Yeah, Ant's got
or
a
I guess
couple
Jalen.
I think
But
I'm gonna
regardless,
look at the
they
ages.
had very similar numbers that season, and then you like look at the comparison of what they did in their first playoff run, and it's could not be more different. So there's definitely is something to be
Oh,
said for
they're
that
the same age.
mentality. They are the same age, gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, but like the way that Ant just completely turns up his game in the playoffs and wills his team to victory, and Jalen Green was a complete no show.
Well, and
It's not like
those
it was like it was only him on the team either. Like they had other good pieces like the Rockets did. So that's not part of the argument.
I like that argument, and I like what you're talking about with the playoffs because we kinda saw there's a reason why Ant has his playoffs. People talk about him like how Ant does, and, um,
Mhm.
Jalen Green has these playoffs, and we're talking about Jalen Green like he does. And we kinda were talking about Ant like that when we were going into the playoffs, like, this is something that he could do and step up and do, and I don't think anyone was talking about I mean, they were talking about how he needs to step up, Jalen Green, but I don't think they were talking about how he could be the potential that we've talked about with Ant Edwards going to Jalen Green. And you're right, it's wrong to give up and say, like, you have to trade him for something because that's just wrong. And you could definitely grow, and a lot of there's especially in the age of, I guess, 2025, the the quickness, everyone needs immediate results. If you don't get immediate results, your coach gets fired, your GM gets fired, and they either restart the process, everyone's got to tank again, yada yada yada. So there's there's something to it. But if you do have a Giannis and you could keep an Amon Thompson and a Şengün, then you give up to Jalen Green and whatever else you got to give up.
Yeah, definitely. That's
And
Giannis
yeah,
that we're talking
everyone just looked young.
about. Not
Everyone looked really young.
nothing.
You moving back? I couldn't hear you.
They're saying it's Giannis. It's not like you're dumping him for picks.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Not you're not just restarting the whole thing again. Buddy Hield game though. I guess it's gonna be the Buddy Hield game. Like it's a game 7. When you have a game and you have a game like that, you become that's your game.
Oh, the
Um,
name.
this is funny just because Buddy Hield he's been the notorious guy where when you put him on a team, you're like, oh, he could hit big shots in the playoffs. Like, this guy could hit big shots. Like that's what you get him in for. That's what you bring him in for. And there he was, hitting big
It's
shots.
just all or nothing.
Yeah, well, that was the
It's
thing. I was
like
gonna,
this type
yeah,
of game or it's a total no-show.
and every
The
other.
the Sixers, right?
I was just gonna say, the past couple playoffs, he's been a no-show in every time that they've needed him.
Except for one game. I remember he had one game where like, oh, is this the Buddy Hield that we're gonna get?
Sure.
And then it was just back to like nothing. Doesn't make any sense.
I, it's funny. I think, and I thought they were. I guess I had them. I had them over the Rockets, and I thought the double bigs were gonna kill the Warriors though, and they didn't end up killing them. But now, at 9:30 tonight, they play the Wolves, and we just talked about Ant Edwards, and um, I think he's gonna eviscerate Steph Curry. Like he's just is he gonna dunk his nuts on Steph Curry's face? Like that's what we're looking at here. If what do you got? These are your options. You got Podzinski against him, Steph Curry against him. You float over your center and Draymond Green against him. Your best forward defender Jimmy Butler against him.
It's gotta be Butler, right?
Yeah, you got to put Butler against him because none of the guards are guarding him. This is it could get ugly, I think, for the Warriors. I feel like I've been saying that with teams and it hasn't been getting too ugly, but the- if they have the big that the Rockets had, basically as we were just talking about, if you just flip Jalen Green and Anthony Edwards, Rockets, I think they sweep. They just have that guy. Um, and of course, I could look like an idiot because Anthony Edwards could fall on his face and also be too young. He's the same age as Jalen Green, as we just mentioned. Um,
It's something different though.
there is. He's got that mentality, and that's the thing about basketball. I've mentioned it before. When you think you're a god and you're shooting around in a basketball, you make way more threes than you do if you're scared and you're shooting around in a basketball. It's truly something special with Anthony Edwards. Um, but I think if we see a consistent Julius Randle that we've seen, a little bit better Jaden McDaniels than we've seen, um, some baseline of Rudy, and then Anthony Edwards been doing what he's been doing, then I think the Warriors are gonna be in some trouble. And of course, we could see playoff Jimmy. Please, we could see playoff Steph Curry, and I could look like an idiot saying that, but I do think it'll be. I think it'll be.
And
I'm gonna
they
go.
they exposed Gobert.
I don't think they can expose Gobert. What are they gonna expose him with? It's like you expose him with Draymond, or like you
I
should
mean, if
expose
you
him with
play
Draymond.
small, like we have seen it work where teams play small against him in the playoffs, and it works out.
Yeah, you just need to spread the floor though. And I mean, of course they have the best floor spreader in Curry, but they don't have like Draymond. Draymond's gonna have to shoot some threes, spread out Rudy. Um, it's hard. The issue with those Utah teams is they didn't have any actual fenders on the perimeter. And when you have Rudy and you just take out the center and you go, hey, we're gonna put the center on the perimeter, and then now Rudy's kind of useless. All your perimeter defenders are just gonna get killed. Um,
Right.
so now they have the perimeter defenders, and I said this last year, and they made then
The
they made the
best,
conference finals. Huh?
some of the best perimeter defenders.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And like Connolly Jr. is gonna get cooked by Steph Curry. Don't get me that. Don't get me wrong. Um, but when you put Anthony Edwards on him, he's gonna stay in front of him, and he's gonna try his best to make sure that he doesn't get any space going forward. And I think Jaden McDaniels and Randall play well against Jimmy Butler. I don't know. Am I missing something here, Chris? Is the Warriors they're gonna make me look foolish come tonight if there's a wake up call for the Timber? What's the wake up call for the Timberwolves look like?
Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler combined for 80.
I think
They're
you're
like,
right.
oh, right, these guys.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Only two of the best playoff performers of the last decade. Only
Yeah,
played at the
it's
same
like
time.
them looking at them saying, "Hey, you're too young and you're Julius Randle, and we're gonna and we're gonna take care of business."
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. I could definitely see that happening.
'Cause that was kind of the thing going in with the Warriors was like the playoff experience and like it is Curry and Butler on the floor at the same time.
Mhm.
And they have a lot of flaws, and those flaws are going to be masked by just those two guys if they're playing their best.
Completely agree. Did
And Draymond is like a factor in the play. Like he's
yeah,
not somebody you want to play against, especially in the playoffs.
it's funny.
Like
He
for
did
all
he
the
ever,
crap
like
he gets,
sorry, go finish. I didn't mean to cut you off.
that's
Did
all.
he
I mean,
have
he's still
a
like
oh,
a great playoff performer.
okay.
You're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, does Draymond have like he has his peak, of course, like his highest moment, which is probably like it might be with maybe with the Kevin Durant teams where they play the death lineup and he's the center. But
Mhm.
he he's never had like he's never fallen off. He's not washed.
Yeah,
And he's always been like he's the James White of the NBA. Like he is just gonna get you 12 points and like
pretty much.
12
Yeah,
fantasy points. Like, not 12 basketball points. But he's gonna get
yeah.
his rebounds. He's gonna get his shot attempts.
He's
And
gonna
he's gonna
piss
play
somebody off.
yeah, he's probably gonna stomp on a foreign person. Like he's gonna like he's gonna pick out the European white guy on the other team and stomp on him. Um and it's it's remarkable. Like he 9 right now. His average stats for the year is 9, 6, 5, and shooting 42%. That's like his whole career.
Pretty much. Yeah,
it's actually
he's still
impressive.
somebody that you would die for
Yes, well, no, and that's the
on your
thing.
team
Like
in the playoffs.
it's the most clutch 9 points. It's like the most clutch 6 rebounds, and it's the
And just
the
like all the crap that he does away from the basketball, and like even with his on ball defense, is like it's so annoying over a 7 game series, and it just like wears you down playing against him.
oh, I remember
Like
when
he
when the
knows,
Celtics were playing
like
them in the
get in your
finals.
head. He knows how to like physically tire you out. So he's almost like he's kind of like Rodman in a way.
Yes, yes,
Like Rodman was never going off for 25 in a big playoff game.
hmm
Like
yeah.
gets 20 rebounds one night and piss off the star player on the other team.
Yeah, and the Draymond talking, like, that really bothered the Celtics in that finals.
Mhm.
Like, it shut them down. Like, they just were Draymond, and that'll be interesting to see because I don't think the Wolves take that, though. That's the one team that, like do they take any of that bullshit? I don't think they take a single lick of it. I mean, they have people saying Nas Reed, like, "Roll Tide," walking down the streets of Minnesota. Like, these guys just they have the swagger. They have, like, the
Yeah.
I would love I wonder like, I know Aaron was talking about it, when we had him on, but I wonder if they can make a run and just shock the world. Nobody expects it, just goes on a
Yeah.
great run. Um, alright, but that game's tonight. It'll be really funny if you're listening to this right now and they're down 0-1 against the Warriors, because by the time you listen to this, if you're not listening to it live, it'll most likely be over. But that is well, we do have one game 7. I feel like we got robbed on the game 7s. They were supposed to be really good, and I mean,
Yeah. Neither
the
of
Warriors
them.
Rockets was a close game in the third and, like, at the end of the 3rd quarter, maybe the beginning of the 4th, and it got to 3 points, but the Warriors pulled away by the end for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But
The NHL game sevens were unbelievable.
they were on
Made
I
up.
actually I knew to know about the one game that went to, the Jets came back from
Yeah.
0-2. Let me hit
That
the
was
Clippers for 1
so
second.
crushing.
We'll go there real quick. Because the Clippers, we could talk real quick because they didn't care. They didn't care to show up. This is a James Harden mass disaster class. I mean,
Yeah.
this cemented his legacy as just like one of the league's premier playoff chokers. And
It's a
he's
shame.
what shocks me is I'm listening to pods and they're telling me in my ears that this is year 16 of it. It's year 16. They're
I mean, I bet he was on the under team that lost to
yep,
the Heat in the finals.
yep. And every game that you see, and it's not even just like game sevens, it's any closeout game. he's a no-show,
Mhm.
complete no-show for. And after seeing him try so hard in game 6, it really made me upset that he didn't try. Like, he took 7 shots. He took 7 shots in a game 7.
And what is, like, the psychology of guys like that who are just perennial jokers? I'm so fascinated by it.
Like,
Like, why
is
does
there
this
just
happen?
like, this is gonna sound
Is
mean.
it a psychological thing, or is it, like, everybody else steps up
Is
and
he
he
just
just
a
doesn't
loser?
have that drive? He might just be a loser.
Is he and, like, there's things like, people say I say
Very
it all the
much. He's a
time.
loser.
This is gonna sound mean. I'm gonna get into a big mean rant. There's, uh people say this all the time about, yeah, Lamar Jackson, Joel Embiid, um, and they always bring up winning is a team stat. You know, it didn't matter which team it was. The Tom Brady and the Patriots. It didn't matter who was on his team. He won every time. And I don't know, man. Like, I just think sometimes the athlete just is a loser. Like, Lamar just shits down his pants and fumbles the ball. Like, maybe he's just a loser. He can't hold
But
on
at
the
least
ball.
with Lamar, like, he cares. Like, you can
Yes,
tell
he
that it
does.
wrecks him to lose.
Well, Embiid cares too, but, like, and there's just some deep down, like, no, does that shot with Kawhi, with Embiid, it's his best team of his life. He's never had a better team since. He's never had a better team before. Does that shot go in if anyone else on the team? Like, maybe that shot doesn't even go in, and he's just the fate of the universe is that you, sir, are a loser, and I'm sorry, that's not how
Well,
the like, there's winners and there's losers in this world, and
yeah.
sometimes people just are perennial losers.
I have thought about this a little bit more recently, uh, just with teams overall. Like, when you think about season to season, like, obviously games, there's a large sample size. But season to season, like, playoff results, a guy's sample size is like 15 seasons, which is not that many. So, like, I don't know. Do you see what I'm trying to say? That, like, there
You're
are
trying to say
guys
it's
that
only
just happen to be unlucky because it's not that many seasons, and it sounds like a lot. Like, when you're actually looking at numbers over the course of time, like, baseball players have up and down seasons, and they're getting 600 at bats a season. Like, if you look at like a one playoffs as an event that we're looking at, this is getting like
it's maximum
a little bit
16 games.
statistical.
Well,
Well,
not
and I
16.
mean
No, that's a lie, but 16, if they sweep every time.
like playoff runs even. Like, Joel Embiid has gone to the playoffs 10 times. Like, that's only 10 events that we're looking. So
Yeah,
it's not the craziest thing that just like by luck he's like keeps finding ways to lose in these playoffs.
I get what you're saying, and I think the the bigger point to your thing is that they've played it for they've just been in the spotlight for that long, and we've seen them
Yeah.
lose in these horrific ways for that long. And sometimes you just never get on, and it is winning is a team stat. When it comes to boiling down, after my mean rant to everyone that roots for losers, um, sometimes like it is a team sport, and sometimes just people don't luck out and be on that perfect scenario and be on that perfect team. Um, but the other times it's just like, I mean, there's moments where you could pinpoint, and this is a moment where you can look at James Harden and be like, this like, the whole loss isn't on you, but this is on you. You took 7 shots in a game 7 and didn't look like you cared. Didn't really look like you had a lot of hustle, which was the most baffling part to me. I mean, he put like his whole life on the line in game 6, and now you're just gonna act like you don't even care. Um, I think the Clippers talk about losers. I mean, they're the epitome of they're never gonna win. If it wasn't this year, I mean, and especially with this iteration of the Clippers, if it wasn't this year, it was and it wasn't supposed to be
It's
this year, but it's never gonna be a year. Like,
that's
they're
why it
screwed.
felt so good
And
because it wasn't
yes,
supposed to happen, and
yes,
they beat or they defied the expectations in a good way.
yes. And I feel bad for Steve Ballmer. I mean, he's just so excited. He flies in
I
200
know.
of the Wall fans to come
I
in and
saw that.
cheer.
Yeah.
The plane ride. I heard this on another pod. Shout out Ryan Russillo, but he said we need footage of the plane. We need
Yeah,
to see
I
the
would love
plane.
to be a fly on the wall.
Just to see what the plane just to see how silent that plane ride is. Um, but they're screwed. This offseason is gonna be it's gonna be real interesting to see what they do, and they might just run it back, and they might be in the same position come next year if everyone stays healthy, but we're doing the same song and dance, and they're just gonna get older, and they're just gonna get a little bit worse. So, it's a sad scenario that they're in because they have no picks. They have, everything's going to OKC. So, um,
And that's just a nail in the coffin. OKC is so, so good.
yeah, it's, since actually, we could do this now because it's the end of the NBA section. Another thing about OKC, the lottery is next Monday. I got a bunch of tweets about people excited about the lottery in the next week. And I realized I have, I got Wizard season tickets, so I'm like I am invested in I'm in the lottery now. I need to make sure that
Literally invested.
yes, I need yes,
Your
yes,
ticket
I'm
value will
literally
go up.
invested. Dinero in the pocket. Um and I need they need to get Cooper Flag. Um the Wizards that is. But funny thing about OKC, the Wizards might
Not
bring
the
him up.
Thunder.
The Thunder can get the 7th pick in the draft if if all things go out their way. They have the Sixers pick from the Al Horford deal out of all deals. Um and they could get the 7th pick in the draft, which would be hilarious. But I think that does it with the NBA section. Just to check on the Cavs, they're somehow up 17 against the Pacers.
Answer the call.
They did. They did answer the call. Donovan Mitchell answered the call. He's got 29. He's really carrying this team. All right. So what do you want? You want to do caps? You want to do baseball? What do you want to do?
I guess we can do hockey real quick, just since it's also playoffs. But yeah, Caps game one tonight against Carolina. It's on now. They're up 1-0.
Nice.
They're actually underdogs in the series. All the like analytics and betting people love the Hurricanes like every year for
Is it
some
like a math
reason.
thing?
I think it's a math thing. Whatever metrics they use to, I'm not super well versed in hockey analytics. But yeah, they love them.
I
But
was
the
like,
Caps were the better team this season by like 6 games, I think. I think it was
I was
like
gonna say
12
the number one
points.
seed,
So,
right?
yes. But no one really believes in them. They have like, I think the eighth best odds to win the Stanley Cup, and there's 8 teams left. So
Wow.
trying to prove people wrong. They're getting some, well, I'm not saying anything about tonight, actually. It looked good in the first round. There was one rough game that's, I think, chalked up to just going on the road at Montreal, which is a crazy hockey atmosphere. Um, Other than that, they had a couple hiccups along the way, but took care of business in that first series. I think they can make a real run. They're definitely not the most talented team left, um, but they played really well as a team. They're well coached. They get I don't even, I'm not going to jinx what I'm thinking, but there's another position in hockey that's very important, and it's he's been playing well so far. That's all I'll say. That stuff does freak me out. Um, yeah, so this is the first time they won a series in 7 years, which is crazy
Since the
for like how
championship,
good
that I
they've
mean that had to have
been.
been the championship,
Yeah,
right?
since the Stanley
Yeah.
Cup. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's nice to be like in the race again. It's pretty exciting. I'm
Yeah, that's cool.
getting back into hockey, which is
Did they
nice.
have did they have like
Um,
bad years, or they were making the playoffs every year, right?
they missed the playoffs once, maybe twice. Yeah, every other year they made it and just got knocked out in the first round.
No, that's brutal.
Yeah.
The
But yeah, this team is fun. They're fast, which they were not last year. They're physical. Um, and yeah, they just like have amazing team chemistry. It always feels like they're on the same page. But they don't have like one superstar. I mean, they have Ovi, but he's pretty
42,
much
right?
just a goal scorer at this point. Like he can still throw his body around a little bit, but he can't really move much. Um, I know that would be their downfall, I think, if they do end up getting beat.
Well, the on the other side, the game 7 that we were talking about earlier, the 0-2, the Jets, who are they down against? Um,
Blues.
Blues. And they end up taking it in overtime, right?
Yeah, they scored 2 goals in, like, the last couple minutes. The one was with 2 seconds left, I think,
Wow.
sent it into overtime in game
That's a
7, which
heartbreaker.
was,
That's
just a
wow.
dagger to the
Yeah.
chest. And then, yeah, then it went to double overtime when they lost, so, yeah. One of the worst losses that I can remember.
That's a
That
brutal
just
loss.
sucks. At least the Blues weren't, like, a favorite to go on a cup run. Like, if this was the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that, and they had a legit shot at the Stanley Cup, that would be way worse.
Yeah, it is
Um,
the first round.
they weren't supposed to win that series anyway, and if they did, they were probably gonna get whooped in the next round anyway.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay.
tough,
Let me
tough luck.
Alright, well, tell me about baseball. Where are we at? We haven't talked baseball in a while. Are the bats
Uh,
still, are they still around? They still, like, people's talking about 'em?
yeah, I haven't heard anything about the torpedoes in a while. Um, the the power imbalance between divisions is very evident though. That's been my biggest takeaway so far. The NL
Is in, like
West just looks like a total juggernaut.
okay,
And then you look at like even the AL East, which is supposed to be a good division, like the Yankees are in first place at uh
19,
19 and
16.
16, and they would be fourth in the NL West, almost fifth. Um,
Wow.
so yeah,
Wow, that division is
the
stacked.
the West is loaded. The AL Central has surprisingly been good. Detroit, who I think I kind of hated on at the beginning of the year, has gotten really hot this last like 2 3 weeks or so. Um, Nothing like really shocking. Baltimore has been awful, which is kind of sad that they just like their pitching staff is so
So
atrocious, and they didn't really do anything in the offseason to make it better, and the guys that they bring in or that they brought in have just completely flamed out. They have two like 40-year-olds on
oh,
their starting staff, and they're both trash.
we
So
gave up 24
tough
runs against the
scene.
Red that one day.
Yeah.
It was 24 to 2.
Yeah. So that's kind of been the story of their season. I know Oriole fans hate their manager too because he always plays uh this guy Jorge Mateo over Jackson Holiday because Holiday's a lefty and he doesn't want to play him against lefties, and that makes them so angry, which I get. So yeah, he's coming under a lot of heat. The GM's getting a lot of heat for not really doing much this offseason. Every move he made is just completely blown up in his face. So I hope things get better for the Orioles. It's still early, and that's the thing. Like people were so upset about the Phillies 2 weeks ago because they had a rough week, 2 weeks. It's like we are basically 3 4 games into the NFL season,
Okay,
and
so
it
we're
would
there
be like
still we're still that yeah.
if your team started 2-2, would you be like in absolute panic mode? Like probably not. Um, the Orioles would be 1-3,
I was gonna say,
which
they sound like they're more a
you'd
little
be
1 and
pretty
3.
alarmed at.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking from a purely Phillies perspective, but one of my most favorite things about like this part of the season is people are now starting to really look at player stats and they'll compare like the best of the best play. Like Soto is the one who I've seen compared to like 8 different guys that have the same numbers as him so far this season. And it's just like, let's have a conversation. Like, all right, we're still 25% of the way to the season, but it's very funny.
I get it,
Um,
because it's like some scrub on the Pirates is gonna have the same as Soto in, like,
yeah,
this
right.
random percentage because they've had the same amount of, like, home runs at home or something, like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
Uh,
always good to do.
and it's easy to pick on because he signed like a $700 million contract, which is outrageous. Uh, yeah. So that's kind of where we're at with the baseball season. I will say, like talking about stats, Aaron Judge is just continuing to be the best baseball player in the world, or at least hitter that we've seen in probably since Barry Bonds. Like that dude is
We gonna
just
have
crushing baseballs.
a record
Uh,
counter again?
what, like the home run chase?
Yeah, like we gonna have that again?
Probably not. At this point, it's like his batting average. He's hitting over 400, which hasn't been done since 1930
Holy crap.
ish. Ted Williams was the last one to do it. And obviously it's May, so like it's very unlikely that he'll hit 400 or even be close to 400 by the time it would mean anything.
Hmm.
But his numbers are like ridiculous. And I'll pull up. I like to use Fangraphs. Uh, I'm a dork when it comes to
Fangraphs is cool.
baseball stats. So I use Baseball Reference for like the easy stats, and then I use Fangraphs when I want to find like the obscure analytics where I want to
Is
make
that a
an argument
baseball
about the
exclusive
player.
website?
Yeah,
That's cool. It's called Fangraphs. You ever seen
Fangraphs. Yeah,
this is while you're pulling that up, you ever seen like the guys on Instagram that it's like the sports graphs guy and it's like he does like today in the NBA and it's all on like graph paper. It's all animated. It's pretty cool.
but not. That sounds like something I would like.
Yeah, I'll try to send you one. I feel like you'd like that.
Okay. Do you know what WAR is? Wins above replacement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So Pete Alonso is second in MLB right now with 2.5 WAR, which is really really good.
Wait,
Aaron
wait.
Judge is at 3.4.
So that means compared to his replacement, he wins 3.4. Wait, what does he do through
Yeah, yeah,
3.4?
basically, yeah.
Okay.
A league average player would get you 0 wins above replacement.
Okay.
Aaron Judge in 20% of the season has already gained the Yankees 3.5 more wins.
Wow. Just for being on the team alone,
He's
that's
batting
nuts.
he's batting 414. He only has 11 home runs, which like is a lot, but when you just weigh his numbers as a whole, like these numbers might not mean anything to you, but he's slugging 759,
Yeah, I don't know what that
which is
means.
just outrageous. Slugging is turning to like baseball stats 101,
It's
which I
okay.
love.
Yeah.
Uh, Slugging is total bases over at bat. So batting average is hits over at bats. So think about it like you get 1 point for each hit,
Yeah.
and then it's just divided by
How many
however many
at
at bats
bats?
you have.
Yeah.
3 hits, 10 at bats, you're batting 300.
Yeah.
Slugging is you get additional points for an extra base hit. So a double is 2 points, a triple
Okay.
is three,
Makes
a home
sense.
run is four. Yeah. So it's like a weighted batting average almost. So a
Okay.
slugging percentage of 1
70.
or like 1,000 would mean that your weighted batting average is getting a hit every single time, and his weighted batting average is getting a hit 75% of the time. If that puts it in perspective,
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's
so
I mean that
it's pretty
and
ridiculous.
you can see how the war gets into that pretty easily when you just
Yes,
look at numbers and just think of uh how many like it's got to be that's baseball stats I'm sure are fascinating just because of how simple it must be. Like it must be so and not in like a meet like it's so easy to visualize what's going on.
it's the easiest to compare among players, I think,
Yeah.
because
Cuz
when
there's
you're
not
at the plate, there's no different like there's no positions. Like there's guys with different skill sets, but there's no it's unlike any other sport in that sense. Where like it's very hard to compare the value of pitchers and hitters,
Hmm.
but it's very easy to compare the value of hitters.
Well, and it's like it's hard to like it's easy to compare, players shooting a three-pointer, but it gets a little more difficult when you start looking at the defense and, like, how they line up that way, but when you look at baseball,
Right.
it's just,
Well,
like,
it's like
it's pitching and it's
yeah,
hitting and then I guess the catching and stuff, but that can, I guess, get a little more complicated, but the hitting stats, I think that's why there's, like, a whole category just for the hitting, which I think is the best part, and then a whole category just for the pitching, which is I find it fascinating as someone who also likes stat stuff, um,
it's very fun. You can get lost on Baseball Reference, which does happen to be at work sometimes. I as we're speaking, I'm pulling up 2001 Barry Bonds against this iteration of Aaron Judge, just out of curiosity.
in May, Aaron Judge.
Yeah, right.
While
Uh,
while while it's loading, can you give me any sleeper teams that have come out of the woodworks? How about the
I mean,
Mariners?
Oakland
Oh,
is definitely one
Athletics,
that is
yeah.
above 500. That's pretty shocking. Um, I thought they would be decent this year. I didn't think they'd have a winning record in May. So we'll see if that lasts. I don't think they're like a real contender or anything, but um, Seattle is pretty much the same team from last year. They've gotten way more production at the plate than they're used to, and that's kind of been their bugaboo the last couple seasons is that they've had this monstrous pitching rotation and their lineup sucks. It's also a very difficult park to hit at. Um, so I think they probably struggle to in good bats because like guys don't want to hit there because they don't want their numbers to be worse. Um, but they're like among the league leaders. It looks like they're third, fourth in the American League in run scores, which is not runs scored, which is not normal for them. But yeah, if that pitching staff stays healthy, they should be a playoff team. And then the playoffs, like you really never know. They'd probably have to trade for somebody at the deadline to get another middle of the order bat. Um, but I always root for them. I just feel bad for them. They've been one of the worst MLB franchises ever.
They've had one
Uh,
of those YouTube series, right?
332.
Where it's like the
Yeah,
teams, yeah.
yeah, that's a great.
That's a
It's
shark
a like
party.
6 part. Yeah, it's awesome. Other surprise, the Giants have been a big surprise. I did not expect them to be this good, um, and they're playing in that loaded division.
Yeah, four
But
teams
I didn't really,
over 500. It's
yeah,
pretty damn
it's kind of
impressive.
nuts. Um, their best player this year has been Jungo Lee, who they brought in from, I think he's Korean last year. And he had a decent year, but he like was kind of a liability at the plate. Um, just didn't give them a whole lot and was super good defensively. And this year he's just torn it up. So that's been a huge upgrade. They also signed Willie Adames in the offseason, who hasn't been all that good. Um, but yeah, they're the Giants like every couple of years have these amazing seasons. And you look at like I remember when it happened a couple of years ago, I looked at their roster like 3 months into the year, and there was nobody on there that really impressed me. So I don't like sometimes I don't understand why the Giants are good. It just is like
This
force of
happens.
nature in baseball. It just happens. Uh, so maybe it's just one of those years, or maybe they just had a good start to the season. That would be my guess. I don't
Are they
trust like
winners?
they're a winning organization. I would say so. Yeah, they won 3 World Series in 6 years a little while ago. Um,
Yeah, I'd say that's probably it's probably
yeah,
built in,
I'd
boiled
say
in
that makes
there.
you a winner.
Yeah.
But yeah, their starting rotation is pretty good. I don't love their bullpen in a whole season, but who knows? Well, jury's still out. The White Sox
Verlander,
are hilarious because oh, sorry, yeah,
I
Verlander.
was just gonna say, because I like looking whenever we talk about the teams and then finding
Yeah,
a
yeah.
name that I spot. Um, Verlander was he on this team for? Is he new acquisition? 'Cause he was on
Yes,
the okay.
he's also like 100 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks pretty old. Um,
Yes.
oh, he's married to Kate Upton. Nice.
He is
Good
very
for
cute.
good for Justin Verlander. Um,
And
that's all I had
access the
on
teams. Um, yes, Verlander is married to Kate Upton. Uh,
winner. Got it. You brought a winner on.
he is a winner. He won. He has multiple Cy Youngs. He's thrown a no hitter, multiple no hitters. He won an MVP, which is tough to do as a pitcher, and he's won 2 World Series.
Wait, there's an MVP
So
and a Cy Young.
yes, because pitchers almost never win the Cy or the
So
MVP.
wait, what's the
It's like
difference?
Offensive Player of the Year versus MVP.
Okay,
Almost.
cool. Is there like a do you need to be a pitcher or something to be a Cy Young?
Cy Young is the best pitcher. Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
yeah,
So then there's two for one for each league.
correct.
Is there an MVP for each league?
Yes.
Is there
Every
an
award has one for each.
okay, there's
Rookie
not
of
an
the
overall
year.
MVP.
There's not.
Okay. I kinda like that. Kinda fuck with that.
Yeah, it's neat.
Alright, well, what else we got? Anything?
The White Sox
Okay.
are hilarious because they are objectively one of the worst teams in baseball. It looks like they have the second worst record. And every game they win by like 7 runs. It's so strange. Their run differential is minus 27, which is better than it's 6 runs away from the Oakland Athletics run differential, and they're 20-16, and the White Sox are 10-25. It's the same as the Nationals, who have won 7 more
They've had a
games than
decent
them.
game. Yeah, I was gonna say, they've had a decent season so far.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's almost the same as the Guardians, who are 20-15. Uh, it's much better than the Orioles. It's better than the Blue Jays, who have won 6 more games than them. It's just this weird trend that, like, I don't know how you explain it. That they're so bad, but every baseball game that they win, it's a blowout. Um, so that's kind of a funny quirk of like just looking at their last week. Oh wait, that was the beginning of the season. Yeah, so Houston series, win 5-4, lose 8-3, win 7-3, and then Milwaukee win 8-0, win against Athletics 10-3, win against Boston 8-4, win against Boston 11-1. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
they just hit or nothing.
Yeah, yeah, it's seriously all or nothing, and they do suck. But the Rockies have taken the throne of the worst team so far this year. They're a travesty, absolute travesty. It's such a shame because it's such a cool ballpark and like they have cool uniforms and Denver has a fan base that's just been waiting for a good baseball team, and they're probably never gonna get it.
You think it'd be easier to have a good baseball team because they could just hit home runs forever.
You would think that they would be able to like attract good hitters, but they
Yeah.
don't. Like every good player that they've developed, they end up trading away.
It's funny, you don't like Midwest, and I guess maybe the Cubs, but like and maybe this is a bad take because I don't think about baseball ever. But like, do you think about like I don't think people think about baseball when they think of Colorado or like the mid
No, not
Midwest,
necessarily.
especially the northern
Well,
Midwest.
Colorado's more of like
Yeah, they're kind of
I
west.
wouldn't consider Colorado Midwest. I feel like the mountains is like its own.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking too.
Colorado,
Because like
Arizona,
Chicago and stuff,
Utah,
and they mess with baseball, but
and St. Louis is like a huge baseball town.
really Cardinals that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm doing the name game on the um here on the Rockies, and I don't got a name, I don't got a
I
face.
couldn't name a player on the Rockies. No, I can name a few, but not many.
Yeah, this Mickey Montauk guy's got a cowboy hat. He looks kind of cool.
Mickey Maniac.
Maniac,
He
yeah.
was the Phillies drafted him first overall a while ago, and
Ugh,
it didn't work out.
yeah, it doesn't look like it. All right.
Still in the league,
Uh,
which that's kind of surprised, but
what about
basically in
wait,
Triple A.
I want you to talk about Ela De La Cruz again. Just
Ellie,
because I've seen I watched him in real life. I saw him at an Orioles game.
oh
He was
yeah,
awesome. And then I saw him the next day. They scored the 42 points, and I've seen him a couple other highlights this season so far. Um, what just make like he's just what makes him so like electric?
he's. Well, I was gonna say he's the definition of electric because he's first of all he's so big. He's like 6'6",
Yes,
and he
that's the
looks
first thing I
taller than that.
noticed.
But he's also one of the fastest players in the game, and it feels like anytime you need a base stolen,
He's
he
there.
can get it for you. Like there was talk last year that he might steal 100 bases, which
Wow.
he didn't really get close. But at one point, he was on pace to do it, and it kind of feels like if he really wanted to do it, he could.
He's on pace to steal about 50 some bases this year, which is like a lot. Yeah, he stole 67 last year. Um, but he also strikes out more than like last year. Last year, he led the league in stolen bases, caught stealing, and strikeouts, but also finished eighth in MVP voting because he had an 809 OPS. He had 25 home runs. He hit 10 triples. And he finished with a 5.2 WAR. So he's just like, he's the epitome of the modern baseball player of just like, we don't care about strikeouts. We're like, don't care about chase rate, don't care about whiffs, none of that. Like, if you still mash enough baseballs, it does not matter. Which is awesome in the regular season. And then when you get in the playoffs and you just need him to like put a ball in play and he strikes out at 3 pitches that aren't even close, it's going to drive you nuts. But he is like, I wish that they marketed him more, which like they do for him being in Cincinnati, but like, I hope the Reds need to be good because he needs to be more of like a center stage player.
I agree. I think they should market
If he
him
was
as
on the
center stage.
Dodgers, it would
Yeah.
be
No,
like
yo,
Otani, and then very close
yes.
below him would be Ellie in terms of like how much MLB talks about them.
Well, and just like on T-shirts, on commercials, on hats.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I feel like I mean, 4 names, that's 4 things you can market with there. There's a he's got but he is how old is he? He's 23. So, they have plenty of
Yeah, it's
time
his
to
third year.
get him on a good team. Yeah, they have plenty of time to get him on a good
Yeah.
team.
Well, I kind of like the Reds. I just want them to be that because they also have this guy Hunter Green, their best pitcher, and that guy is a freaking hoss. Like Hunter Green is awesome, and you will just like never hear about it. He finished like third in Cy Young voting last year.
Trying to find, Hunter Green here. There he is.
But outside of that, they just have a bunch of like decent players.
Yeah, he looks like a slugger.
So
Yeah,
that's their problem.
so hope I'll be looking for them then when the trade deadline comes. Hopefully they get I mean, I wouldn't even know who they get if they're
Hopefully,
good, but hopefully they get someone good.
they are a sneaky like fun team to watch.
And is it all
You
because of
have
him
like
though?
uh, I mean mostly probably. uh, yeah, they have some fun pitchers. Like Nick Lodolo is kind of a weird big lefty. Those guys are fun. Their
Talking about
bullpen's pretty
Hoss, that dude's a
ass.
unit.
Hunter Green.
No, Nick Laboto, that
Or,
guy's
oh,
big.
Lodolo, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, they have some fun names too, which is always worth something. TJ Friedel, Spencer Steer,
Catchers
Matt
wins.
McLean
Austin wins.
wins. Oh, he's not their starter.
Oh, okay. But that's another great name. Why I had to bring it up.
It's true.
All right, wait.
Yeah,
Catcher, you have 2 catchers on a baseball team? Why the hell do you have 2 catchers?
because you need the catcher takes more days off than anybody
It's because they're
because
just
it's so taxing
catching
on
the
your body.
balls? Yeah, okay.
Well, you're thinking about the position that you're in
Yeah, you're just
for
sitting
like
there catching 90-mile or 99
100 to
per yeah.
150. Like it's horrible for your legs. That's
That
why a
makes
lot of
sense.
catchers that are good hitters they transition to first base at some point in their career. They can
Okay.
prolong their
And
career.
they're not just like, they're not there just to catch. That makes sense. That would make
They
more
hit
sense.
too.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
Generally, like catchers are more valued for their defense than their offense.
okay.
Like the best hitting catchers are never the best hitters overall. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, because then they wouldn't be a catcher, right? They wouldn't play him at catcher.
Yeah. Like
That makes sense.
Schwarber came up as a catcher. They're like, get this guy.
That's kind of cool. Like you get upgraded. Like you're too good to be catching back
Yeah.
there.
But if you're really good defensively, like Rutschman is, then they just let you go.
Who's the guy on the Braves? my fantasy team keeps yelling me about him. Will something. Maybe he's on the Cubs. He's on one of the tubes. To one of the two. He's a
The
catcher.
catcher,
Yeah.
Contreras
I could have sworn it was a shorter name
on the
than
Cubs.
that. Like Cruz or something. Um, let me look. My fantasy baseball team's in shambles, by the way. I do every
You beat
week I
me.
do like the load the roster or whatever, or load the week, and it doesn't help me. It doesn't help me very much. Who is yeah, Will Smith. Sorry, not Cruz. Will Smith, catcher, Dodgers.
Oh, the Dodgers. Yeah.
Yeah. He so like is he number 6 right now in fantasy because of his defense or because of his hitting?
No, hitting. You don't get points for defense.
Okay. That would make sense.
You
All right.
should as a catcher. There should be like a you throw out a runner, you get a point or something.
Yeah, that would make sense, right?
That would make sense.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not going crazy there. All right. Is that all we got?
All I got on my end, yeah. Third period just started, so
Here, wait. I know it's we could do
mind
like 8
wrapping.
minutes. We can make it to 30, 1 hour 30. What's up with the Terps?
Oh, actually, there's a lot up with the Terps. We just signed a borderline 5-star guard who was a UConn commit.
What?
Uh, yeah, he
Okay.
decommitted because they got too many guys in the portal. Darius Adams, I think his name is. So yeah, he's like the 4th highest rated recruit in program history, which is pretty nuts that Buzz was able to pull that off.
Yeah,
in
buzz
his first year.
baby.
So they got him, and then they got this Spanish guy. I don't remember exactly what his name is, and I don't want to just like profile him because he's Spanish. It's
Yeah.
something Del Pino. And his nickname is GDP, which is awesome.
That GDP is pretty sick.
Yeah. So I don't know what he's gonna be. He might be terrible. But we'll have a foreign guy, which we haven't had in a while. Oh, it is Guillermo. Okay, yeah, Guillermo Del Pino. Darius Adams is the other guy. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what he turns out to be. Yeah, pretty stoked. They need at least 1 or 2 more big guys, but they have a loaded backcourt. And by loaded, like, I don't know if any of these guys are going to be good, but they have a lot of bodies. They might actually have depth if these guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say they went from no team to like a lot of bodies.
Yeah. But yeah, they have like one Big Ten caliber big man, which is a concern. I think they'll add more from somewhere. I just don't know where that somewhere is going to be. Yeah, pretty excited with how the roster's coming together.
That's sick. I'm glad I asked then because we hadn't heard an update. So the Gamecocks, they stole of course Eli Ellis has been the biggest story so far. If you listen to the pod and we've talked about the Gamecocks, you've heard us talk about him. He went to he was at the Overtime Elite and he brought 3 of his teammates from the championship Overtime Elite game.
To the Gamecocks.
Yeah, to the Gamecocks, baby. So we have 2 of his teammates, the newest one being sorry, I'm pulling up all their names are of course not anything I'm good to pronounce. I'm trying to get their full list here of their transfers. I don't know why they're not. No one's giving me some people are giving me articles here. I'm trying to get a just a straight up what the thing is.
Pronunciation guide.
But here we go. 2025. So we got 3 of those guys. We got a Mongolian small forward from Princeton who is apparently electric. Or not Princeton, Utah. His name is Mike. And apparently that guy's Sharma Varjamits. See, I don't want to do that. I can't. Yeah, I can't do all that. We got another guy from the tournament team of San Diego.
Oh, nice.
So his name is
USCD.
Norton Kapic, power forward. Get some tournament experience in there.
They were good last year. They won like 30 games.
They were good last year. a guy named Elijah Strong out of Boston College. He's like the one I don't want to hate on any of them, but he's the one I'm least. He was nice to get, but I'm not too too great about him. And so we had this guy Cam Scott. Tell me if you think this is soft. People were debating on it on Twitter, soft or not. I think it's a good sign. He transferred. His name's Cam Scott. He was a top 100 recruit last year, and he went in the transfer portal and then came back. He was like, "Hey, I don't want to transfer anymore."
What's the market?
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. Like I think
I
that's a good
mean,
sign.
professional guys do that.
Yeah, he's testing the waters,
Opt out of their deals.
and it's like this shows that like he likes what Lamont's building enough where like maybe he wanted to see if he could get other opportunities, but it was better than what was out there. So I think
I'm
it's a
sure
good
he
sign.
had offers too.
Yeah, people were saying that with that and Michi coming back. It's like, oh, are we losing the locker room? It's like I think that's actually gaining in the locker room. You're getting confidence in some of these guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
All right, good. I'm glad. Um, we lost a lot of players, but we're coming in strong. With a lot of players, and I like what they're doing. I mean, why not get Eli Ellis teammates that just had success with him at
Yep.
the other level? We have Miles Studi coming back, who didn't have a great year last year, but he was hurt most of the year. That's why he's allowed to be back, and he played great in 2023, 24. Um, there's a couple guys that we lost. I'm gonna miss Morris Ugasuk. He went to West Virginia, um, and then Austin Hero, the the brother of Tyler Hero. What school is this? He went to St. Thomas. The St. Thomas Tommies. That's what their team is. So he's going somewhere where he wants to get playing time. So good for Austin Hero.
Oh, you had him? I thought you got him.
No, no, no. We had Austin Hero. He was he walked on for us last or
Never.
2
Did
years
we ever
ago.
talk about that?
I think I
Or was
mentioned
it
it.
walk on?
Yeah, he was a walk on. He got minutes in maybe 3 games last year. Didn't do too much. And his freshman year, he redshirted the whole time. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I wish they don't have this on three. On three doesn't have any of the guys in Eli Ellis's league, the overtime elite. It kind of makes me mad. I'm trying
Interesting.
to look at all these at once. Um, but that's okay. I think they're going in the right direction. I think they're getting the guys that they need to get, and I'm expecting some good things coming out of Columbia next year. So I'm glad both our teams are
Yeah,
on the right
it's
track.
it's going pretty smoothly.
And I mean, well, we do this I think we've talked about
Always
it
does.
as a theme. Yes, the star ratings come in, you sell your guys,
Yeah.
they're coming into the system. But that's how I'm gonna treat it because I love it. So
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
yeah, I can't believe you guys got that UConn. What's his name? I'm gonna look him up. What's his name again?
Darius Adams.
Darius Adams. Oh, okay. Combo guard.
Yep.
Skilled and smooth guard with good positional size at 6'5". Ooh, Chris, you can have an NBA player. That's awesome. Well, good for Buzz.
See,
That's a good way. That's a good way. Yeah,
a lot
top
of
20
mouths to
recruit
feed
in the
in that
class.
Maryland backcourt.
Yeah, yeah. And did you guys keep
Now,
keep
whoever
anyone
you're gonna say, no.
any?
Really, no.
Where'd the guy that we liked with the shooter?
Rice, he went to
Yeah, where?
USC,
Okay, the Trojans.
which is actually kind of cool because I think they'll play here this season.
Oh, revenge game.
Which I'm not 100% sure.
That's
played
weird.
at
I
USC.
forgot that they're in the Big Ten until you just said that.
Yeah, that's super weird. Oh no, they probably won't play here because
Gotta
they
go
played
to
them
USC.
here last year.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, Darius Adams is gonna cook him. He looks like and it's funny because he just looks like it because he's young, but he looks like a 2K make a character.
Yes, he does.
Oh man, if I'm playing 2K, I'll probably see him at some point. All right, well, I'm excited for you though. Let's wrap this up. Thank you all for listening. Those were our wake up calls. Those were the NBA or the NHL MLB. We covered it all over here besides
A little bit of
football.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
We didn't
say.
talk about football at all. Oh, I did have a football thing. See, Abdul Carter tried to get Lawrence Taylor's number, and
Okay,
then
yeah,
he
we
pivoted
could do
to
5
Phil
minutes on
Simms'
that.
number.
We could do 5 minutes on that.
That's kind of outrageous, no?
I think it's hilarious. Um,
To even
why
ask LT, like he's literally the best defensive football player ever.
did you hear his
And
idea
the number's
too?
retired. Uh,
He was like, "I wanted to ask LT because I wanted to wear 56, and then the best defensive player that comes on the Giants, like, wears 56. Like, that's, like, the Penn State tradition." I was like, "That's not how it works. This is professional
no, that's not how
football."
it works.
Um,
It's retired.
Colin Cowherd had a great rant about
Oh
this. It
gosh.
was phenomenal. I think it was Monday. I mean, yesterday, yeah, the story came out. Colin Cowherd's doing his thing on it, and he goes, "You know, he he's like, people nowadays, they wanna be happy. Like, they're like, "Oh, I could lay down in bed all day and do nothing, but at least I'm happy." It's like, "No, go outside and get a life. Go have some purpose." And he's like, basically, I don't know what he was getting at with that, but he's like, basically, Abdul Carter is just like, he's just trying to be happy, and it's like he just needs to go out and work. He needs to go out and earn it. Um, and I might have just botched what he was saying there, but I liked what he was getting at. And
Yeah.
I agree with him. Why are you asking Lawrence Taylor? He's the best Giant
Also, like
of all
Dexter
time.
Lawrence is on your team. He's the best defender on your team.
Yes. That's just coming in assuming that you're gonna be, and I guess it's like a confidence on yourself, but you're that confident in
Yeah.
yourself that you think they're gonna unretire this Hall of Fame number for you? Phil Simms won what, 2 Super Bowls? Him and Lawrence Taylor won 2 Super Bowls with them?
Yeah.
The and it's funny because props to Phil Simms's family, because he said yes, that he could have it, and his family's like, "What are you doing? Like, this is your legacy." Like, these and it's one thing if you're a vet and you come in and, like, who's the best? Like, if AJ Brown got traded to the Giants and was like, "Hey, I want number 11," like, maybe we
Mhm.
could work something out. Like, you've had a great
Yeah.
career. You're a stud
Right.
already. We know you're gonna be a stud on the Giants. Like, we don't know if this guy's gonna be a stud. Everyone predicts he's gonna be a stud. I thought he was gonna be a stud. This doesn't make me think he's not gonna be a stud. But what are you doing asking those silly questions?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah, you gotta earn that first. I thought that was goofy, and I could have sworn I was listening to Pardon My Take, and they were, like, all for it. Like, I'm 90% sure it was, uh
No, I don't think so. 'Cause I listened to it this morning.
they
I
okay,
think
but maybe
I
they're
don't think
retracking history. I gotta they this came because this story was out right before it was out, like, right when they drafted him, no? I feel like
I
this story
I
happened
heard it
twice.
one part of my take. That's why I knew it was
I'm
happening.
interested to see what they say then. I'll have to listen to Mondays. I could have sworn somebody brought up on, maybe it wasn't Pardon My Take, though. I might be misquoting on something else. It might have been the fantasy guys that the Ringer
Yeah,
fantasy guys.
that would not surprise me.
I think Danny
That
Kelly
one
was
of them
all
has
about
that
it.
take, and then the
Yeah.
other two just freak out about it.
Yes, that's kinda how most of their pods go. I think Danny Kelly was all in on it. I thought he was like, and he's the Giants fan of the group. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, you should give it
Mhm.
to Lawrence Taylor." I was like, "That's a
They sell
terrible idea."
themselves on everything.
Yeah, they really do. That's their job. That Yeah, they're a great pod though. I gotta get props. All right, I think that does it. Now we got a little bit of everything.
Good here. Now
Yeah.
we did, yeah.
So thank you all for listening. And we'll see everyone most likely, actually, I gotta go to Jersey on Saturday. Maybe Friday. All right. See everyone then.